All right. I'm here with Cinderbuds, Chase and Blake. How do you all say your last name?
Cherubini.
Yeah,
Cherubini. What is that? Like
it's Italian.
Italian.
Yeah.
So you guys are like full Italian.
I mean, I don't really know. It
Or
was what?
mutts.
Yeah, pretty much.
So on my drive up here it's relatively, flat until I get off the exit, and then it's starting to get more mountainous and mountainous. And I was like, man, there's no way there's trails up this way. But then all of a sudden, it kind of grows. And then, Horns Hill is pretty close to here. So, kind of leading into that, what got you guys into mountain biking and about like what age?
Well, we always our dad took us when we were little, so we always went like once or twice a year.
He tried to expose us to as many different sports as he could when we were younger, just so we could figure out what we liked.
So we went to a local XC place called Dillon. It's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from
Yeah.
us, and we would go there once or twice a year and ride. And then we kind of got out of it in high school and stuff, didn't ride much. Graduated high school, got really, really into CrossFit for like 2 years, and then we met our buddy Caleb.
He's been in a few of the videos.
And he rode, I rode, and I was like, I've never met anyone else my age who rode mountain bikes. So we started riding, and I think that was the very end of 2017 when we kind of started riding a little bit. And then from then on, 2018 was like when we started really riding a lot.
I think 2018 was the first year we ever went to a park.
Okay.
So before that, we had never been out of Ohio. All we knew was pretty much the local XC loops. Horns Hill wasn't really even a thing at that point, but it was like kind of there. They were just really old and worn out, which kind of started where it's at now. But it just spiraled from there after we went to that first park, which was Snowshoe.
So you got into it first, and then you're like, hey, you should check this out. And he kind of got into it, or?
Yeah,
I
kinda.
at the time, Caleb that he was talking about, I didn't really know him. We met him through CrossFit, and I don't even know, was I even going to that gym yet?
No.
Him and his now fiance started going to a new CrossFit gym in Johnstown where they met, and I hadn't gone there yet. So they met. I think they went without me a couple times, and then they were getting into it. So I followed suit. I got another bike, and then we started going, and then just started going more.
But what happened was Blake got his first bike, rode it a few times, hated climbing, like just terrible.
Sucks.
Who does?
And then he quit. So he sold his bike. He's like, I'm done. This is dumb. So he sold his bike.
Yep.
Me and Caleb kept riding. He bought another bike. Did you quit twice? I think
No, I just at one point said this still isn't fun. This was before we had gone to a park. So like I bought a bike,
Yeah.
wasn't having fun in Ohio, so I got rid of it.
What was that bike?
It was like a 2013 Cannondale Jekyll. No dropper.
Oh, yeah.
No dropper. It had disc brakes, but it was like really old, but it was in good condition. And then sold that, and then I got a 2012 Santa Cruz Nomad. Had a dropper, but it was pretty janky. But at this point, we still hadn't been out of state and gone anywhere like legit. So I still wasn't having that much fun in Ohio on it.
Didn't you go to Snowshoe for your first time on that?
Bike.
And the suspension was like clapped out.
Yeah, it was not very good.
Just
But-
rock solid.
After that, that's when I was like, okay, this is mountain biking. This was a lot of fun. And then that quickly turned into a new YT Capra, which was awesome. That was my first like legit bike.
Nice. Yeah, I was started on the XC scene. I started with a Moto Pecan off Bikes Direct, $500, and I was like, yeah, I'll just ride around. And then it's weird how like as soon as you get the click or like the feel like you like the sport, it's just like it's a total game changer, and then you realize you're like, this is a crappy bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. That first weekend at Snowshoe really opened our eyes to what mountain biking was. And I mean, we went for 3 days and we rode nonstop all day, open to close for 3 days straight.
We probably did 40 runs. It was like when we were done, our knuckles hurt for like months.
Did you get
Just-
arm pump?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
by the second or by the middle of the first day, we were stopping every run just
Yeah.
because our hands were so blown up.
Yeah.
Our hands were sore months afterwards. Like, we were big into CrossFit at this time still. I couldn't do pull-ups or like kettlebell swings strictly because I couldn't hold on. Like my fingers hurt that bad for that long after. But since then, they've been okay.
My buddy said he rented a downhill bike from Snowshoe. Never got it. Never got arm pump versus us on our bikes.
Hmm.
So
I don't get it too bad anymore.
really,
No.
I've only ridden a downhill bike once, and that was like a couple weeks ago. So they're nice, but bikes now are like,
yeah.
especially the bikes we have now, are so sick.
Yeah.
They're so good.
So okay, so you took a minute to get into it, and you were kind of committed from the start.
Yep.
What were you riding?
I started out on a $500 Trek Remedy.
Oh yeah.
So I found it on Facebook and was like, went and got it. I was stoked on it, and I rode it for a while. Then I went off a drop at our buddy's house and snapped both chainstays in half.
Holy smokes.
Right at the welds, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't even at the
No.
welds. It was like half, just
It
like
was
a
like
quarter
a-
of the way back.
Like
Just
a
snapped them.
2-3 foot drop. It wasn't anything crazy either. Just
So then I was like, all right. I still didn't have any, like, no money at the time. So I got on Pink Bike, I think, and found a Trek Slash frame. So I took all of the parts off that Remedy that I had and put them all onto the Slash, and then rode that for a while. And then that was the end of 2018
that
or
was
19.
like when I got my Capra too.
So then I bought a Capra, and then after that, we have the bikes we have now.
Yeah.
So it was like real quick. It feels like it was really fast. Like got this bike, and then I was like, sick. I got these nice bikes. And then once we got the Capra, it was like the bottom end Capra. But that over the like $500 bikes I had been riding was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like these bikes are sick.
Yeah, I went from a $500 and then I was getting into the XC scene. My buddy's like, man, there's like this Cannondale lefty on Craigslist, and it was 1,500 at the time. I was like, 1,500. I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I'm like 5,000. I'm like,
It spirals
yeah,
so fast.
so fast.
I think my first one, that Cannondale, was like $1,000. Sold it for pretty much what I had into it. I found that old Santa Cruz for like 12 or 1,500, one of the two. And then that turned into the Capra AL Comp, which at that time I had just made quite a bit of money that I had saved up and just blew it all on a new bike because I had nothing else to pay for at the time. So I was like, why not? Let's buy a bike. And then I worked at Trek for a little bit, got a Trek Slash that I really wasn't a huge fan of. And then that shortly after that is when we got hooked up on the Specialized team. So now we're on the Enduros.
So Horns Hill isn't really, I mean, it's around, but it's not what it is yet. So were you guys riding on those enduro bikes, or was it all kind of just, it all kind of transitioned together?
Well, we were riding them at Horns. So the Horns, when we got our bikes, was basically what it was 15 years ago. Was when it was first built by Huff and
Yeah.
Bob and them, and it just went for 15 years basically with no work done to it. So there was 4 trails. We would go with our crew and just dig a little bit and fix them up so they were rideable, and then we would just ride there, and it would be 5 to 10 people on a weekend just there for a day riding, having a good time. Then there's a little XC place in Heath close to us
Oh,
that we
yeah.
would ride. But that was basically it. Like
Yeah.
we had these big enduro bikes here in Ohio, and
You had to find a place to use them, and Horns Hill is a place.
Yeah.
So it kind of just led us to fixing it up and turning it into getting started what's going on today.
which is awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome. Like we went yesterday when we went was the first nice day this year. There's probably like 30 people at least there that just showed up just to ride. So, I mean, that's a normal weekend for it now. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like this summer.
So I mean, you guys, along with like Dave and what's Roger, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
You guys, I mean, I'm sure there's other names I'm missing, but you guys kind of basically sparked a fire in the past couple of years in a sense. Were you
Yeah.
guys just doing like handwork, or what were you guys saying like, hey, we can make this great? What kind of like,
So we had like our core group. It was like me, him, Caleb, a few guys from Columbus, Roger and Bob, and some locals that we all knew about this place. And Bob is one of the original people that built it with Huff, like Chase said. And we started riding it. We started saying like, hey, let's talk to the city, see if they'd be on board with us like actually building here. So Roger and Bob have been in charge of like not really like in charge, but they've been taking care of all the stuff, the politics with the city, the funding, and then we've been promoting. So we made a few videos on Horns Hill. Once we got the green light to actually get funding, we whipped together a video of Horns Hill, like all the new trails that we had just like finished up a little bit, and then that we were accepting funding. We posted that, and at the time, the Facebook group had like 100, not followers, 100 members. We posted that video, and within like 2 weeks, it was at 1,000.
Holy smokes!
It blew up, and then from then on, we've had zero issues with funding, zero issues with getting volunteer work. Like yesterday,
We actually have about the same amount of money that built the park to where it is now. We have about the same amount left. So like we've gotten more funding over the winter and this start of the spring. So it's just going to get even better than what it is now because we got more money to spend on it.
so if people think what's been built already is crazy, we have that same amount of money that made it what it is now for the next year to do even more.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So on average now, like you said, there was 30 people. I'm sure you're just seeing more and more people show up.
Mm-hmm. There was new faces there yesterday too. Like,
yeah, new people. Every time we go there, there's new people. And once the weather warms up and the trails are good, like the park officially opens tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw that.
So then it's going to, like, we'd get 50 people at least on a weekend, every weekend.
the issue that we're running into now is the current shuttle situation that we have is not the greatest. It's just a old trailer. So we're looking at getting something built, kind of like what Windrock has,
Yeah.
like a legit bike trailer with seating in like the bed of a truck or something that's a little more efficient and safer. But one of the interesting things is, since we're admins of that Facebook group, we put a question in asking people where they're from. And we're getting people, this past week, we've had a lot from Michigan,
Really?
Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky. I mean, there's a lot of people from out of state that come ride there because there's nothing like it within hours. I mean, Snowshoe's the closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is Snowshoe from you guys?
5 hours.
There's
Wow.
7 Springs too, I guess, but it's kind of lame. They didn't even have the bike park open last year.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, going back a bit. So, yeah, you said Snowshoe. So, yeah, when you first saw Snowshoe or your first bike park, were you just kind of blown away there?
Yes.
It was crazy. Like we had been to, I had been to a mountain bike park when I was like 12. My dad took us to Seven Springs.
I wasn't old enough to
Blake
ride
wasn't
there.
old enough to rent a bike and ride. So I knew a little bit what it was like, but it was so long ago. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't ridden a downhill bike or anything like that since. So we went and we were just so stoked. Like, this is awesome. This is what we like doing. We get to ride downhill on these awesome trails. And from then, pretty much from that day or that weekend, we haven't stopped riding almost every weekend, weekend, just
Been
nonstop.
yeah.
I meant to ask, you guys are doing CrossFit. Do you see does it work together or in a sense?
Not as much as we thought,
Okay.
which is also like yesterday was our first time pedaling in a while. So Ohio has had a pretty good winter for Ohio this year, which means we haven't been able to ride. But we've had a Peloton bike that we've been riding, which is fun. But we got out and rode yesterday and actually had to climb, and it did not feel like it carried over as much as we thought.
Really?
Yeah.
And neither did CrossFit. Like I would say when I was in my best CrossFit shape and then I would go mountain biking, I would be like, what the heck? Like I feel like crap. It just didn't transfer as well as I thought it would. But
Yeah.
like overall fitness was way better when we were doing CrossFit a lot. And I felt like if anything, it gave me a better base of like muscle and stuff. So when I crash,
Yeah.
I don't get hurt as bad. Because I've had some pretty bad crashes where I think like landing on shoulders and
Yeah.
stuff pretty hard. And I don't know, but I think it's because we had a CrossFit background. We have strong shoulders and stuff. Blake doesn't, but
Yeah. Wait till we get down here. I'll show you my elbow. It looks like I got a golf ball in it.
Oh, man.
Blake's
But-
got that on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. So there was a group of us, a couple guys did CrossFit. I did the same CrossFit gym, but they had a burn class, which is high intensity, low weight, but an hour. And then a couple people did like an Orange Theory. And then one guy did, yeah, I think that was at the time. And us doing like a burn class, the guy doing the Orange Theory, our endurance felt better than the guy who was doing CrossFit.
Mhm.
And then one guy was just doing like a bike, and he was just kind of like, yeah, just trying to keep my legs going. But now all those guys, I don't really do much anymore and just try to ride the bike. A lot of those guys switched over to the Nordic track, like a Peloton, and the Nordic track goes up and down, and they seem to like it. But yeah, I don't know how the crossover is. I think just riding is the best thing.
I agree. I haven't found anything that helps with biking more than just riding more. Just
Yeah,
keep going.
Because last year, Ohio's winter last year was terrible. Like, it didn't snow. It was barely even below freezing. So
right.
the trails all winter long were like great. So we rode a
We
ton.
rode a couple
last
times a
year.
week all through winter.
And I felt great last year. And then this year, I'm like, I feel like crap because we haven't been able to do anything
Right.
other than ride the Peloton, which is better than nothing, but it's still not what it is. Like, when you ride and you ride a lot, you feel good riding.
Right. So your current bikes, uh, which one of you has a specialized mullet, or both?
Both currently.
Okay, same bike.
His is actually a 2021 frame. They're both pretty much not even close to stock at this point. He's got a 2021 frame. I've got the 2020 still, but they're both mullets. That's the time.
Specialized enduro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Air shock or spring.
Air. Both
Okay.
of us were. I was looking. I just upgraded to Fox. I was looking at getting a coil, but they're sold out everywhere. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, we'll just go with air.
So why the mullet? Just try it out to see how it worked, and then
Pretty much. I mean, since we're doing YouTube, we kind of got to think of new stuff to
Yeah.
make content around, and we're in an
Mullets are hot right now.
mullets are hot, and we're in a specialized enduro owners group that link has been blowing up. The guy that makes it, he's a World Cup racer. He's from Australia. I kept seeing his name all over this group, so I like reached out to him. I was like, hey man, like, what do we need to do to get these links? I didn't even know he had a website at that point. So we talked to him, got some links from him, and then made a little video series about it, trying it out, and I like it. It's not a crazy difference, but
yeah,
at Windrock especially, when it gets steep, you have way more room in the back, and I think it feels better.
I think that's the only difference that we're good enough to really
Yeah,
feel. Like, we're not good enough to notice like how it corners and how like it saves time in this corner versus this
Yeah.
corner. I just noticed like I don't buzz my butt anymore, like at
Yeah.
crazy drops and stuff at Windrock. It feels lighter, it feels smaller, but that's basically the only thing I noticed big time was like I didn't buzz my butt after a whole weekend at Windrock. Like,
yeah. Pedaling
pretty
sucks
good.
for me no matter what, so it always hurts. I can't tell a difference.
I was gonna say, how is it? I know Windrock, there's a lot of they shuttle you, but if you have to climb, how is it?
We did like 2,500 feet of climbing yesterday at Horns. I mean, it just feels the same every time. Like, my
Yeah.
legs hurt the same amount every time. I don't notice a difference. So
And that link makes it so the geometry of the bike is
very
pretty close
very
to stock,
close.
so it doesn't change. Like,
It's not any slacker. It's a little bit slacker, but I couldn't notice it when I first hopped on. I was like, oh, it just feels like there's a small wheel in the back.
Yeah. Completely forgot. I should ask what created the YouTube channel that's growing pretty good and the name Cinderbuds. Oh, before I go on, one of the first videos I saw a snowshoe was your all's video, but there was like a bunch of you guys. It wasn't just you two. And I think you're riding. I can't think of the
Is it
name.
the Walmart bike?
No, it's
Skyline?
it's the one that's like a next step up from Skyline.
Ninja Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. So we started the channel a little over a year ago is when it started at Cinderbuds. It was originally just Blake Cherubini. I just uploaded POV GoPro stuff
Yeah.
just to do it. And then we were really close with Caleb at the time. And we were on the Scioto River wakeboarding with our buddy Matt, who also rides bikes. He's an ex-pro wakeboarder, super cool dude. We were riding with him, wakeboarding, and wake surfing. And we have a video. It's on my Instagram. I think I've posted it somewhere else too. Caleb was trying to get up on the wake surf, and he kept like his head
like
kept
drowning.
his head
He was
kept
drowning
dunking under the
himself.
water, and he was like drowning himself. And we always used to just call each other bud and like say send it
Yeah.
bud or send her. And as he was like gargling water, he gargled and said like "Sender bud," and then just from there, after that, I was like, we should call a YouTube channel that. So I just changed it and made it that, and then we started making videos more geared together, more geared toward like other people's
Just
viewing
biking.
pleasure, I guess. And then from there, it just started to just blow up.
It basically went from us, like I had one that was my own that I just put little things out
Yeah.
on. Blake had his, and it went from us doing it separately to us just focusing on one and putting a little bit of effort into it, and then having our other friends like Caleb and Tommy and Cam, everyone that we already ride with, but just basically filming what we're doing, because
Yeah.
we're like, we do a lot of cool stuff and no one gets to see it.
Yeah.
And you think people would want to watch it, so we were like, let's just film it and put it up there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
Right.
But I like what you said about like you noticed there was a bunch of people in it. Like we didn't start it to just be us. Like
Right.
we like riding with other people, meeting new people. I love all the YouTubers that are out there right now, but a lot of them just ride by themselves or
Yeah.
something. I don't like that. I like meeting people, hanging out, riding with the locals. Like that's fun to me.
Yeah, that's basically the reason I started this podcast. I found myself in a parking lot talking for like an hour after
Yeah.
you rode, and I'm like, we should just put this out there.
Yeah.
My buddy's like, huh? I was like, man, I don't know. We'll just start recording. I know it's gonna be like a different setup, but it'll eventually get out there. He's like, all right, and you know, eventually it takes time, but yeah, like here we are now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like it. Like I hadn't met you before. I
Right.
know you know Huff and them, but I hadn't met you yet. It's
Right.
nice to always meet new people in the community.
So where did you see like a spike of
We got the Enduros and made like an
Enduro review.
Yeah, like a review video. And it's our second best video right now. It was our first best for a long time. It's got like almost 60,000 views or something.
Wow.
And that really spiked the channel, and then staying consistent from then on.
So we, like, our job, what we do with our family is like marketing and SEO and all that
okay.
stuff. So we have a really good understanding of like how YouTube works as like a search engine.
Yeah.
So we knew when we were starting this, like if we do just vlogs straight from the beginning, it's going to take us forever to grow because no one knows us and no one cares. So we started off, we made like review videos, instructional, like we made a how to corner video when we basically didn't even know how to corner.
We didn't know how.
But we knew those types of videos are going to get searched more often and get seen more, which gets people to our channel, which then if they keep watching videos, they get to know us, and then they eventually get to like our vlog stuff, which we really want to create more is the vlog type.
Hanging out with
Hanging
fun
out,
people.
meeting new people, like that's what we want. But we knew from the beginning that that would take years to grow, so we had to go with like search engine type videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. We did a like half shell review, but 2020 best helmets, and it's like I was like, man, no one knows my channel, but we'll see. And you know, it's got 500 views, but it's like the other ones are like 100,
Yeah.
80.
They do better. We did some Michelin tire videos. Those
Yeah.
ones have every single one of them does well. So I mean,
And now
stuff
I
like
see
that.
Michelin tires everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's talk about that for a second. So the Michelin tire, it's kind of new to the mountain biking world in a sense. How do you guys like them?
We love them.
Yeah.
Like, we rode
We're
Maxxis.
not lying in the videos.
We rode Maxxis before, and that was basically everyone ran them. So we were like,
We also like to be different. We like to try new things. He got them first. We were at our local place. He spoke very highly of them, so I said, all right, I want to try them. At that point, we were on the same setup, same exact bike, same everything, so nothing was changing. I was on Askai and an Aggressor maybe at the time, or a DHR. I changed to his bike for a run, and I was like, wow, like that was significantly more grip. Like I've never actually been able to tell, but I could tell on that one. So then I got him, and then our buddy Caleb got him, and slowly everyone at Horns Hill had them. And then Michelin eventually approached us and said, hey, we like what you guys are doing. We love that you actually bought our tires first instead of just asking for them from the beginning. And then they started helping us out, getting us tires. They got us the new DH22s, which
awesome.
are amazing.
So what's their compared to the Aggressor? What's their model?
Probably the Wild Enduro rear.
The Wild Enduro rear, and they also have the new, is it the Force
All Mountain
2? It's their new version of it, which we haven't been able to try yet. It's almost like a semi-slick, but it's a little bit beefier. So it's like in between an aggressor and semi-slick that I'm excited to try out.
So, what's the one you guys run on front?
For the past several months, it's been the DH22.
Okay, I'll have to check them out.
They're awesome. We'll have to show you them after we get done.
Were you reached by a guy who I know follows you, Randy Richardson?
Yes.
He's awesome.
That guy's a wild man.
He's so
he's a
cool.
good dude. But yeah, he told us, he said that, because we asked him like what happened to the mountain bike scene with their tires, and he said pretty much it was like new management came in and said that they pretty much didn't care about mountain bikes, and then in the past couple of years they've gotten back into it, and then it seems to be working.
Done a good job.
Yeah, they've done a really good job.
So you guys are on your way. We had to squeeze this in before you guys head out of town. I hope I'm not letting a cat out of the bag. Hope you guys are allowed. And you're heading out of town, hit the southeast. Well, let's start here. You're heading next week to Windrock for the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about what y'all's plans with that.
Well, we raced it for the first time last year. We both ran the Enduro, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like just being down there with a gigantic group of mountain bikers that are all really, really good riders. It's like that at Windrock anyways all the time. But it was just really cool. We liked it. We both raced sport, and I ended up winning that one. So
I had a really bad day.
Blake had a really bad day. But I was pretty stoked on it. And now we're going back this year because it was the best race. It was like the only race we did last year other than the Horns Hill one.
It's the only one around. Snowshoe's a very close second, but it's the only enduro around that like the stages are proper like enduro stages. Like they're downhill runs with some punchy stuff in them, but they're downhill. Like we've done several other enduros before that are basically XC. Like
that's all you got in Ohio.
Yeah, which I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. But the Windrock one was awesome.
What do you think of Windrock XC trails? You guys like those?
Mixtape's like one of my favorite trails.
Mixtape's so good.
Mixtape might be my favorite trail at Windrock, honestly.
Yeah.
It's sick.
What about MR2? Have you heard that?
No.
So it's as you're going to Mixtape, it's gonna be on the ledge off to the left. It's not fun. I didn't like it.
That's the one that we saw it.
It's pretty chunky.
When they had the tape up, I saw it. Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but we hadn't done that one.
Yeah, Mixtape. Yeah, that's fun.
It's I think we ended on that one last year on Mixtape because we didn't do full Mixtape.
Yeah.
Cut onto another trail, and it was like
really rocky.
Really rocky. Like this is hard to ride.
Yeah, I went down twice in the rocks. I'm like, get me off this trail.
Yeah, it was hard, and it was muddy that day that we rode it too. It was a little slick.
Yeah,
but it was just hard.
So I'm not sure about this, but you're gonna do Windrock, and you'll get points of how you score, right? How you finish.
He can. I'm racing the sport class again since I pretty much have no obligation to have to race pro at this point. I've been on the podium like once pretty much. I raced a snowshoe downhill race, and it was, what did we race? Cat 2? Cat 2, I came in second behind him. Other than that, I've never done very well in a race, so I don't need to race pro at this point.
You need to finish a race.
Yeah, my goal for this race is to go have a clean race and hopefully end up placing well.
Now, say you go to like I don't know if you heard of a Go Nuts Racing.
Yeah, we wanted to do that one just recently.
Yeah, same here.
But it was
TTC.
sold out. Like when I figured out about it, I went directly and looked, sold out.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it until the week before. We had Steady Spin, who's built the courses.
Yeah.
Commented on one of our videos like 2 weeks before and said, "Hey, are you doing the TTC Enduro?" I was like, "I don't even know what that is." And then I started seeing it everywhere, and I was like, "It looks fun, but it's sold out."
Yeah, I had Dave, the owner, I guess, whatever, main guy there. He was on the podcast. Super nice dude. And he's like, "You got to come to race 2021." So I'm gonna try to make one too.
Oh, I want to for sure. It looked good.
Yes. Well, I was gonna ask is, will your points carry over from those two different race series?
I don't know. Yeah. Probably not. I mean, I've only raced sport up until now, so I don't think they give points for sport stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, Go Nuts looks pretty fun. It doesn't look as steep and rocky as Windrock, but it doesn't look bad at all.
No.
That last race looked fun.
They looked like good stages. I mean, we've done some enduros where like you gotta pedal, like
Really?
yeah, you end up like in the saddle, just like going at trail speed sometimes, just like
On the actual stage?
yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's what we're talking about.
Enduros are a little different here.
Yeah.
Well,
than
that's been
down
some
there.
of the West Virginia ones too.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but yeah, I really like Windrock and that whole area, so I'll
Yeah.
be really pumped to go do like 10+ minute stage. Will be
They're
really
awesome.
fun.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. When you do the Windrock Enduro, you got to pedal to the XC trails from wherever.
Last year we did, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this year they're all starting from the top of like Windrock Mountain, so
There's none at the campground this year.
Oh, okay.
we don't
That's
have
good.
to pedal over there. It wasn't really that bad of a pedal.
No.
I think going up to the very tippy top 3 times might end up being worse than last year, but we'll see.
Yeah. So yesterday, like I mentioned before, well, off camera, I went to Knoxville, and some guy's like, "Hey, let's go to Windrock XC. We'll just ride that." I was like, "Dude, we're gonna climb that hill 3 times, and we're gonna be like, all right, we're done." And we just drove 4 hours, and he's like, "Nah, we'll be good." I was like, "I already know. I'm not gonna do it."
I really like those trails are so good.
That's
And
Yeah.
they're
the
not
X-
even with Windrock.
Yeah,
They're not
if
associated
you got
with
an
Windrock.
e-bike on that XC side,
Yeah.
you're having a good time.
Yeah. So yeah, Go Nuts is gonna have one at Baker's. Have you guys been to Baker's at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit.
And are you gonna try to do that one? But you'll be back by then. I think that's in June.
Just depends. We're gonna be back for like all of May, and
all
then
of June. We're gonna be here all of June.
yeah, because we got a family vacation in June, and then after that we're taking off.
We're hoping that after June the borders open and we're going to Whistler. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
we pretty much have no reason not to other than it's a far drive, but we want to go.
So I'm going back to Bentonville. I highly recommend checking Bentonville
That's
out.
on the list too.
That place. We're going to Bentonville Bike Festival on June 17th. But you will be blown away when you're there. You just kind of you see all the videos and you're like, "Yeah, that's cool," but like it's just overwhelming.
All of our buddies went last year, and they loved it.
Yeah.
They said Leatherwood was like one of the best places they've ever ridden, and it's very close to Bentonville, I think.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out.
They said
It's
I think
a
it's Leatherwood
shuttleable,
Lake,
yeah.
Leatherwood Lake, like downhill shuttle laps.
Okay.
And they said it was awesome. So we want to check that out too.
Yeah, there's so many trails. So part of your travels is this camper we're sitting in, and I know you guys done some videos about it, but did you gut it this whole thing down to basically the frame?
No, I was not interested in getting that far into it. So when I bought it, it was a 2005 used, but very like lightly used. It's like if you've ever gone and looked at used campers,
Yeah.
like, when you walk in, a lot of them have like a certain smell to them.
Yeah.
Like, this has been used
Nasty.
a lot. Like I don't really want this one. This one didn't. Like it was clean, but it was gross looking. It had like a weird leaf wallpaper with like oak wood, and it was just outdated. And that wall in the back had like a water damage, so I had to fix that. So basically, we took that wall out, which I had to take cabinets out too, fix those, and then we just basically painted everything, made new countertops, and put floor in, and it like
Completely transformed it.
Yeah.
completely changed everything. Put lights in, new lights, LED lights, and just made it so it's gonna be nice to be in and use, and it looks nice for like when we're filming in here.
All right.
So that was basically the plan. And we went with a camper because we're planning on when we go staying at these places for longer than like a couple days. We want to go for like a week or 2 weeks. So now we can park the camper at the campground, throw the Velocirack on the back of my car, and then explore that area fully and like get to know the town and everything about it mountain bike wise, which I think is just way cooler than saying like, hey, we're going to pop into Knoxville for a day and then take off.
That's what we're used to doing. We'll plan like 1-day trip or a weekend trip where it's just like get up early, ride all day, try to film a video while we're there, and then head home. And then it's like we had no time to just like chill and enjoy it there.
Have you guys tried Windrock in one day? Have you guys done it?
Multiple
my
times. It's
gosh.
awful.
6.5 hours down and then 6.5 hours back.
It's
fun.
pretty much a 24-hour day. Like we wake up at 3, leave at 4, get there by open, ride until close or almost close. Depending on how our bikes are, we might have to wash them, and then we're 6.5 hours back. So it's
It's a
a
long
full
day.
day. I
It's a
mean, you
long
mix
day.
in eating food and stuff in there, gas. It's almost 24-hour day.
I think we've done that twice.
Yeah, we don't want to do it again.
So, where is your next stop after National? Do you guys have something planned?
I think the plan is to go like around Knoxville.
'Kay.
And just hang out there for
Bakers
week,
for a little bit
week
because
or
we're
two.
we're actually getting some new dirt jumpers specifically
Oh, yeah.
because we'll be around Bakers and Riveter. I mean, how
Yeah.
can you not have dirt jumpers around there?
Yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna go ride Bakers and then probably head down to Brevard where we've got Riveter, Canuga, all the Pisgah trails.
The awesome part about what we're doing is we can go, like if we're at Knoxville and we're like, oh, we want to stay another week, we can stay another week.
Yeah.
And then we can go, if we find somewhere else we want to go, we just go there and we can kind of just bounce around wherever we want, which we're really fortunate to be able to even attempt to do this and make it work.
Right. Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure about, maybe you guys will know, campground near Baker's. Hopefully you find something. I'm not sure.
There's a couple different apps that we'll use. There's one called Campendium,
Okay.
which is like, it has pretty much every RV park in America on it. And there's some that are decently close. There's nothing like right there. But as long as we're 10 minutes away, like we have to drive 10 minutes to get to any trail near us. So that'll be awesome. Just throw the bikes on the Velocirack and take off.
Yeah, I got a Velocirack, man. They're great.
They're sick, aren't they?
Yeah.
You interviewed the owner, didn't you?
Yeah. He's super cool. So it was funny. I left with my buddy yesterday, and then when they picked me up, they're like, "Yeah, these two been drooling about your bike rack all morning." I was like, "Man, it was nice." I looked at bike racks forever, and then I stopped looking, and I was like, "Man," because they're all sold out because of COVID. People were just buying left and right. I was like, "I got to look again," because mine was, it's like one of the ones. What is it? Saurus is the brand or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it was like on the wheels, and it was like a half shell, but with the geometry of bikes, it wasn't fitting. I had to flatten my tires just to get it in there.
Oh man!
So my buddy's like, "You can't have that piece of crap in that nice bike."
You can't have that holding that nice bike.
Yeah. So I was like, "All right." And then I don't know where I found them or how I found them, but I was like, "I'm getting that. There's no questions asked."
It is by far the best bike rack I've
awesome.
ever. And we take like Roger. We used to take trips with him in his van, so we were like, we cannot have a tray rack, like a 4-bike tray rack that's like sticks out another 6 feet off this van. This van's already gigantic. So we had to get something like the Velocirack, which I say it's like high and tight. It holds your bikes up high and like tight to the car, which I love. And I think it looks cooler than tray rack when they're on there.
I saw they had, I don't know if it was someone made it, they made that like swing out.
Yeah, we have one.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
We don't use it.
We
for
don't
the
use it
Velocirack,
anymore,
though.
but we used to use it all the time.
Really?
They're all.
If they made
really
an
nice.
attachment, I'd buy it tomorrow or today.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Velocirack's nice, and it's like multi functional. It's where you can break it down and put it in your garage. So my question leading was, if at night you just gonna leave your bikes out, do you feel safe like that?
We actually, this has been like a big topic of like, what are we gonna do with our bikes? Because our bikes cost more than
the
like,
camper.
Our bikes together
and the car
cost more than the camper and the car together.
Yeah.
Like, they're stupid expensive bikes. So I think what we're going to do is when we're like driving and stuff, we're going to remove this dinette and we're going to put fork mounts down there.
Okay.
So our mountain bikes will be in here. So they'll be safe, good to go, clean. The dirt jumpers will be in the back of my car. So I got like a 60-40 folding seat. So we'll put the one down, mount those in the back of my car. And the Velocirack will be on the hitch on the back of the camper.
As far as camping that goes, though, we haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've left them on a bike lock sometimes, which we don't really want to do, but it's worked. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
if we throw all of our bikes on the Velocirack and then put a couple locks through it, like by the time someone's trying to break into those, Blake's gonna be sleeping on on top of the car.
I'm gonna be in a rooftop tent. I'm gonna hear them.
He should be able to hear them, and like when it rains and stuff, we'll just get a tarp or something and throw it over them, just to keep them.
Or we can put them in the back of your car,
or that.
Yeah, I think I'm too relaxed about my bike. Like, so we went yesterday after we rode Knoxville. We went and got something to eat, and my one buddy was up constantly looking. We even had locks on it, and he's like, "We're like, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, the bikes." I'm like, I should be fine. He's like, you need to be more panic mode.
Dude, I'm so paranoid.
I'm
like,
paranoid, but I'm also like, you know what? I'm gonna just sometimes I'm like, I'll just trust the world and hope that people are
Yeah.
being nice today.
First of all, they got to be smart enough to get it off the Velocirac.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't mountain bike, you're probably gonna have to sit there and like look at it for a second.
Yeah.
And the Velocirac, you can only take the bike on the furthest right.
Oh,
Yeah.
we shouldn't even tell. We shouldn't even mention that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's why I put mine on the far left. So
Yep.
mine's the last one to go.
Yep. Exactly. But yeah, that's what I was. Well, maybe that's why I was so calm yesterday.
Yours is on the far
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
You're like, oh, they got to take your
Oh,
guys'
that's
Yeah.
first.
They
I
have to-
hope I never have to run into it.
Yeah.
That situation.
So, Chattanooga. I don't know if it's on your all's list. I say check it out. Raccoon Mountain. I guess you could start at the bottom. We started at the top, but then we had a car at the bottom bring us back up. I don't know if that's gonna be able to work out for your situation, but it's like there's like this section they call the playground. You're on the trail, and it's just like natural rock drops and like all kinds of cool stuff there. And then there's another place called White Oak Mountain. You literally go through a college campus, and I was like, man, this is all right. And then as soon as you end, there's trails right there.
Really?
And there's two nice little flow trails, like drops and jumps.
Dang. I didn't even know about either of those. So that's
Yeah.
Either.
Actually, Huff is gonna go. I don't know when, but he's working with the guy who does the White Oak Mountain place.
sweet. Then there'll be good trails for sure.
Yeah.
So we've mentioned horns. We mentioned snowshoe. If they were both in your backyard, which one you taking?
Horns versus snowshoe?
Yeah.
I mean,
Snowshoe.
snowshoe's got way more
Yeah.
for sure.
I guess they're on different scales.
Yeah, they're much.
If you didn't have a lift.
Oh.
Horns.
Yeah.
I really like the snowshoes. I love snowshoe, but I really like the vibe that we've got at Horns now.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just, especially because it's in Ohio, everyone's just so stoked that there's something like this in Ohio.
Yeah.
Everyone's always like maximum stoke. Everyone's super pumped all the time, which is just it's really cool
We
to be
get-
able to build something like that.
I mean,
for
most
people.
of the stuff in Ohio and even other places now, it's so hard to, like you mentioned in Cincinnati, you can't
Yeah.
get anything done. Or
Right.
like they won't let you build anything progressive. The city of Newark has loved us. They have not said no to a single thing we've asked. We've taken like the fire department around to like show them where everything's at. We had to give them a map. They loved it. They've never complained about anything. And I mean, people get hurt doing it all the time.
Yeah.
You get hurt anywhere on any type of trail. They haven't batted an eye at it. They love that we're using the park because previously it was not known. It didn't have the best rep, and we're changing that.
That's
So,
cool.
Vibes wise, I'd take Horns over snowshoe, but like
Yeah.
riding, like you have to pick snowshoe
Yeah.
because there's just so much more
I know
to ride.
you mentioned you might ask like snowshoe versus Windrock.
Oh, maybe
said
that's what
that.
it was. Maybe that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Yeah. Which one you taking there?
Windrock.
Windrock for sure.
Really?
Hands down, every time Windrock.
The biggest thing for me, in which we noticed last year when we went to snowshoe, they don't maintain their trails.
Yeah.
Like they built Dirt Beaver, which was pretty much the only maintenance they've done in a long time. But like all their other trails, I hadn't seen much stuff touched. Windrock, I mean, it's a crew of like 3 people. It's Sean Leader, Corey Rimmer, I think they're all part of it. I know Sean is the owner. Corey Rimmer and Damon is like head of trail
Yeah.
building. And it's
He
like
lives there.
he's out with a hoe every day
Yeah.
working on the trails, fixing up corners and stuff, and like it's always pretty good. I mean, it gets blown out everywhere.
Yeah.
It gets blown out.
It's
but
blown out almost all the time, but like that's kind of why I would prefer to ride at Windrock over snowshoe because I feel like I get way better riding at Windrock than I do at snowshoe. Snowshoe's a good place to go, like
got
hang out,
variety.
Really?
chill out with your friends, and just cruise. And we've been there a lot, so we know like every trail. But Windrock, still, every time I go there, it's like first shuttle up, I'm like, all right,
Have you ridden
I'm
Windrock
here.
yet?
Not the park side.
All right, you need to.
So what's your? So I like to start out on. I'm not gonna say like a green trail, but like you don't want to go into a black diamond as you start out. You're kind of cold.
like a blue
Yeah. So
techy.
what's your start out trail when you go to Windrock?
drop out.
Drop out for us because it gets like
It gets you up to speed. As
speed and rocks. Talladega is just fast and
breaking
bumps, which is fine to get warmed up. But I feel like if you go into a trail that's a little more technical to get warmed up, it does better at warming you up than just hitting like a flowy trail.
Reach
Okay.
around is good too when it's open.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't open the last time we were there, but Dropout has like some rock gardens and then some high speed stuff, so you kind of get up to speed and you also get some tech mixed in.
But we never feel like we're up to speed at Windrock until like the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're like, all right, now we can ride and like cruise and go fast. But then by that point, it's usually like we gotta go, we gotta leave.
That's kind of how I felt yesterday at Knoxville. I was like, man, I'm feeling good. And some guy's like, man, my legs are done. We're done. I'm like, oh, man, my legs are kind of sore too, but I don't want to stop.
Yeah, you just get to that point where you're like fully comfortable, fully warmed up, and you're like, all right, this is awesome. Let's ride. And then people are just like, oh, we're closed, or like, oh, I'm tired. I want to go.
They're two completely different places though. Snowshoe, you can like go hang out and have fun on the weekend. Windrock, there's no like chill riding.
Right.
Like you're on top of your game the whole time, or else you might crash because
And there's not much around
Right.
Windrock.
Yeah, you're riding. That's your weekend. You're not like, hey, let's go to the restaurant or bar down the street when we're done.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
That's not a thing.
they've
there.
got Oak Ridge like 10, 15 minutes away, which has everything you need, but it's not like a hangout.
Right.
Like Snowshoe has the village up top.
Yeah.
Going back to you said like, yeah, Newark has been very helpful to you guys. And I noticed that yesterday in Knoxville, like there's people on road bikes, mountain bikes all around, and it's like that's so awesome to see. And it's like where I'm at, and I don't see it. I'm just like it kind of drives me crazy. But like, yeah, Knoxville, we just went down I don't know if you've been. If you get past Sono Taco to go down the street like a mile, there's like breweries, restaurants. And they got like bike themed. I'm like, man, this place knows what's up. They know what's bringing it in.
I hope Newark turns into
So-
that eventually.
What we have now, so the Evans Foundation, the Evans family, Bob Evans,
Oh yeah.
donated money for the new skate park downtown. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
There's a new skate park that they just built within the last few years. We've got the 21st Street dirt jumps. It's called Flory Park, but there's some dirt jumps now. Horns Hill, and then there's like a secret spot in Heath on the other side of Newark that we've been riding for a long time. That was never like it was a preserve. That's what it was,
It's a
right?
preserve,
We
yeah.
were like unofficially allowed to ride there, but they didn't want it to be promoted. And after Heath has seen what Horns Hill has had happen, they're kind of open to turning that into like an actual mountain bike, like
Really?
trail system. So we'll have like enduro XC trails, downhill and jump trails at Horns, a skate park,
And a dirt
and
jump.
dirt jumps, all within 10 minutes of each other.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Is Bob Evans the big basket building? What's-
No, that's Longaberger.
Longaberger.
I was like, where am I going?
Yeah, the big basket.
Yeah.
It's a staple of Newark.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, has people reached out to you, say, hey, I know you work with horns. Do you want to help us develop other stuff or show us where we could? Do you think that will happen?
We haven't personally had that yet.
I think it probably will. I think people will like definitely reach out to Huff, knowing he built
Yeah.
those trails, and then maybe Roger and Bob, since like we didn't have anything to do with like talking to the city officials and stuff. That was all Roger and Bob, so they know more about like what goes on
Like,
behind the scenes
logistics-wise.
with the city themselves. We basically
We know how to get people there.
we know how to get people there, and we would put in like trail days. Like
Yeah.
we could post on our stuff and get 30 people there on a trail day, and
Yeah.
we built a trail on the front side in like a day because we had
Yeah.
like 30 people show up.
Holy smokes.
So it's
A lot of it's happened from volunteer work. Like there's been no problem getting people. People want to help out. So that's been good.
What do you think, like, but before, we'll say 18 or whatever, 19, people probably weren't volunteering. You think it just kind of changed because I saw the progression?
I think so. We went to one trail day in Columbus at Chestnut Ridge, and there
I
was
didn't.
like
That was just you.
there was like 10 or 15 people there. Like it wasn't huge, but there were people there. Now I think people are super stoked on having like the new type of riding that they're like super willing to come. Like people drive 2 hours to come do a trail day and ride, because we usually do a trail day and then
Yeah.
after that we ride or shuttle. But people drive a long way to come do that, and it's
Dang.
pretty cool that people want to come help out.
I mean,
That is.
it shows what people want. They
Right.
want the more progressive, like push themselves type of stuff. I mean, it's not always safe, but that's what people want to ride.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of people say, I can't believe the city allows this. And we're like, well, they have so far. So
Yeah, I think you're kind of pushing. You're not like, hey, well, send or don't send it type stuff. You're kind of
yeah,
like, well, if you don't want to do this trail, there's this trail
yeah, we've
types.
got stuff for everyone.
Huff and Roger did a really good job at like building the progression of the trails. Like the front trails, they've always been there. They're steep and gnarly and loose. Like those are hard, but they built like the back stuff. They built easy ones first and like kind of worked our way up to like Slim Shady, which is like the big trail everyone knows there now.
Yeah.
But before that, it was all smaller trails for beginners, so people don't go and just hurt themselves right off the bat.
Yeah, I think where I'm at, they still battle XC people who see that and they're like, I'm gonna get hurt, and it's like, I don't know, I don't understand.
I think that was the good thing about Horns though, is there weren't the trails that were there were downhill trails already, so we didn't have to fight like cross country. Like if you want to ride cross country, that's great. There's not a lot of cross country here, so we didn't have to fight with them about it.
Yeah.
It was like this is our spot to do like what we want. It's not like Dillon or Chestnut where you have to fight all of the 30-plus-year riders that have
Yeah.
been here forever and they don't want you to touch it.
It's also never a fight because we don't ask for money to do it. We're just like we'll do it. Like we just want to ride good trails. We don't need money. We would rather just do it and make them.
Heck
Which
yeah.
is I think the issue in a lot of other places. Like we've been talking about partnering with Combo for like insurance reasons and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Makes it easier. But they pretty much said that as long as like money's not involved, we can keep doing whatever we want. If we raise our own money for it, we're fine. But once you like ask for money is when it has to like get voted on and approved. So that's when the like XC versus enduro downhill could
Maybe
come
that's
into
the
play.
issue they're having.
It might be.
Probably with like the combos like the Central Ohio Mountain Bike Association. So they have to vote on everything they do money wise and stuff. They can't just be like, oh yeah, do it. It has to be voted on. Then you got people with different opinions, which everyone has, but right now it's just all of us that are like, yeah, you want to do this? Let's do that.
Let's
and
do
we
it.
just do it. And or we just pay Huff and say, hey, we want a really cool trail about right here, and you got it. And that's basically what they've done so far, and they knocked it out of the park
I
every
think
time.
they said Slim Shady was the first trail that they've been given like real estate and just said build the best jump trail you can do.
And full permission to just say like build it.
Because
'Cause
usually they'll have like an opinion like, oh, I don't want that jump. It's too dangerous. But we just said, you have this, you can use all the money, just build the best jump trail around. And that's what they did.
Or they'll have someone tell them like, oh, I don't want that, or I want this. And they're like, all right.
Yeah.
And they have to do it, but it's like that's not really what should be done. So I think Ethan really and Huff really liked building that because they just got to build a trail that they had in their minds and they got to build that. And it turned out awesome. Like Slim Shady's.
I need to check it out.
Slim Shady's so good.
So man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a point to that. Anyway, you're heading back to your travels. I know I'm changing around here.
Going forward, backward.
I know. That's how I do. I'll start talking. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a point I missed. But where else are you gonna go to Santos? You gonna go that far down to Florida?
Maybe.
It'll start getting hot.
My grandparents have a spot in Tampa, so we've talked up. My fiance really wants to go visit them. I would like to visit them. So, is it Santos or Alafaya that's right by Tampa?
Oh, I don't know that.
I think it's Alafaya.
One of the two is like right by Tampa. So if we do go down to Tampa, we'll definitely ride there, and then we'll hit all the stuff on the way back. So we just pretty much have to Google everything and figure out where good trails are at.
Yeah.
So we from like this little spot that we're in, from like Asheville up to Ohio, that's all we've ever really ridden.
Yeah. PNW is like, that's where we really want to be, but we don't want to drive out there yet until the border's open and we know we can go hit Whistler.
Yeah.
So
It would be painful to drive all the way out there and then like not be able to go into BC because it's so close. You're like,
I mean,
oh,
you can
right
do
there.
Bellingham,
Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, there's still awesome trails out there, and we could spend months riding them. But like, you got to go to Squamish and Whistler. Like, that's just
Well, it was funny you mentioned. You went to a bike park in your 12. I meant to mention. My brother lives out in Utah, and I was in the cross country scene. I went to Deer Valley, and it was a bike park, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, and I'm just not understanding. And I'm like, is there cross country trails out here? This guy's like, yeah, you just gotta go take this trail, and it'll take you all the way across the mountain. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I got back. I'm like, well, it was all right. And I started talking to people like, you went on cross country trails at a bike park. And then
Crazy.
I went back the next year, got a Yeti 150, SB 150. I was like, oh, this is what it's about. And then
Yeah, this is a mountain bike. This is
yeah,
fun.
and I was like, no more cross country.
Yeah,
Oh.
no. I think we started off like that was all riding we did was type cross country type, but the downhill stuff is so much more fun.
Yeah.
I think everyone would agree with that.
Did you see yourself back in when you first started to where you are now? Do you ever look back like, wow, we've progressed?
All the time. Just
Yeah.
like compared to last year, we're like, we kind of thought we were good last year. Like, what were we thinking? And like, especially going to Windrock, when you see those guys,
after you
we're like,
ride or like watch those pros ride, you have a new perspective of how fast a bike can be ridden.
I am not good at
Yeah,
all.
like I
Yeah.
think a lot of people out there think that we're really good, and I like that they look up to us, but we personally don't think we're even like very good at all. After riding or like seeing like Nico, Dakota Norton, Chris Grice and them ride, I'm like, I don't
suck.
know if I'll ever be like even close to them. Like I just want to be able to like go out on their chill day and be able to keep up with them.
Yeah.
That's like ultimate goal right there.
But it is cool to be able to look back at like our videos and stuff and like see that we have progressed in the 3 years that we've been riding.
Yeah.
We started just guys that knew how to ride bikes, and it kind of turned into like now we're kind of mountain bikers and we're decent. Like it's cool to be able to see that.
Yeah. And then you basically grew in a whole you grew this town up in a sense. You guys did.
Kinda, yeah.
It's weird.
We don't give ourselves enough credit for it.
It's weird to think about, but
the other guys give us more credit than what we give ourselves. But
I know what you're saying about you're not on the level you think. Like I'll have a buddy like, man, you're looking good out there. I'm like, I'm not even close to it. You're just giving me props.
Yeah, and you're just like, come on. Like I wish I could do that, but I
Yeah.
can't.
All right, let's finish with this. What's something you guys don't agree on, like as brothers? Is it, let's say this, you finish riding, is it like one guy wants tacos, one guy wants pizza?
I don't think so. I don't know.
that's a tough one.
We pretty much like get along pretty good.
I mean, we've grown up doing the same stuff our whole lives. Like we both played hockey together, travel together. Like we've been biking together the past few years.
I would say the biggest difference is like I'm more go with the flow type of guy, and Blake's way more of a perfectionist.
Okay.
So when like filming and stuff and pictures and that type of stuff, Blake is, I'm like, all right, that's good. Let's just do this and get it done.
And Blake's like, no, that sucks.
Blake's like, no, it has to be perfect and it has to be good, which is good because it makes our videos and stuff look really, really good. That's just where our personalities are different. Blake wants to do it and make it perfect. And I'm like, let's just do it. And it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest difference.
So who's more as the post? Is he more on the computer post?
Yes.
Yeah.
I pretty much handle it all, honestly, at this point. Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Did you learn on the go, or did you have what taught you?
What aspect? Like YouTube stuff?
Yeah,
or like camera stuff.
Camera. Did you use Premiere Pro?
I use Final Cut just because it works a little bit better with Apple stuff.
Yeah.
So I use Final Cut. I think it was a little over like a year and a half ago. I bought my first camera. I don't even really know why I bought that first camera. I've always appreciated quality stuff, like something that looks good. So I bought that, watched hours of YouTube learning how to use it. So now I fully understand how to use these cameras that can do a lot. You just have to know how to use them.
Yeah.
Which is one of my biggest pet peeves is like when someone like says they're a photographer and markets themselves as that, but like me with what I know, I can tell that they're not using the camera right.
Right.
Like that's frustrating to me. But I learned how to edit on the go. Like there's really not that much that goes into our videos.
We both know how to use Final Cut Pro.
It's just
but it's
cuts and music. Like there's no special effects in our videos, so that's pretty easy. But yeah, it's just been pretty much on the fly.
Yeah, I follow this guy named Gary Vee, who's like a, I guess you want to call it influence, whatever. He's always about put quantity over quality, and you'll get better.
He does say that, which I think quantity is better than like nothing.
Right.
But we have people like Velocirax, they want to like work with us as an affiliate, which we'll be the only one for now that they're doing
Yeah.
that.
Heck yeah.
He specifically said that it's because we're quality.
Nice.
And I was like, that was the first time someone's actually said that,
That
because
was like
Chase has
seal
been
the deal.
he's been skeptical about it, just like, oh, just whatever, put
I
it
like
out
the
there.
quality, but
And then after he said like it was specifically the quality, that's why we want to work with you, I was like,
all right, you're right.
like, see, so it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Chase and Blake, thanks for having me in your camper. Good luck on your trip coming up. Good luck next weekend in Nationals. I'm gonna do my best to be there. And yeah, it was good talking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
It was-
having us.
It's nice
Yeah.
meeting you.
I hope we get to ride sometime this year somewhere.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
take a lap with us at Windrock. You can come down the practice trails.
I'll be way behind. I just feel it.
Might as well do it.
I will be. Wait. So April 10th, I'll be in Atlanta. We'll see where you guys are then.
Yeah,
Alright,
if
yeah.
we're somewhere close, then even if we're a few hours away, we can just make
Yeah.
the drive.
Yeah.
We don't have to take the camper.
Yeah. Do you guys follow motocross at all?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll be down there
Surprisingly-
for the race.
Surprisingly enough, we've never really ridden dirt bikes.
Okay.
Nope.
Which we get that question a lot.
Really?
How long you got? You guys ride dirt bikes?
I-
No.
I've noticed dirt bike riders ride mountain bikes, and it's kind of goes a little bit the other way, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
But
Most people that ride dirt bikes get into mountain biking
Yeah.
are already fast.
Yep.
Like, right off the bat.
well, cool guys. Yeah, I'll see you on the trail.
All right. See ya.
Thanks.